Hello everyone and welcome to a type of video, there's my English, that I feel like it's been a very long time since I have filmed, right? I'm doing a full face of first impressions! Woo woo woo! And I'm super excited. I hear that BH Cosmetics has some real gem products in their line of products. So I went ahead and I ordered pretty much one of everything. I mean, one of every kind of thing. So yeah, I guess let's start out with the tools here. The brush set that I got is the 13-piece Studio Pro brush set. With the brush sets and the brushes in general from BH Cosmetics, from what I saw, just be careful if you don't like natural hair brushes like me. Some of theirs have a mix of natural bristles. Some of them might be purely natural, but these ones are synthetic. They do say that their stuff is all cruelty-free, but of course there are different stances from different people whether or not it's actually cruelty-free, even if you do collect the hairs, the natural animal hairs, in a cruelty-free way. You know, it's just, you're gonna have to use your own discretion, but all of the brushes look really nice in these little bags and everything. Ooh, the handles feel like NARS packaging. What? Okay, I'm down for that. Feels soft. It doesn't feel hyper soft or anything, but it kind of reminds me of the standard Real Techniques line of brushes. So this one just says it's the number 2 brush. They do have a bit of that, I shouldn't even say a bit. They do have, when you get your nose up in it, that factory kind of a smell to them. So maybe it would be wise to wash them before use, but I'm gonna throw caution to the wind. I'm just gonna go for it. It's kind of tripping me out. These brushes look like natural hair brushes just because of the variation in color that they did. You know, it looks like a coat of fur in there, but it says these are synthetic and they do feel synthetic, so no. Has all the brush uses listed on the back of the box. So a fan brush, a tapered powder brush, small contour brush, a flat top buffing brush, pointed crease brush, blending crease brush, flat shader brush, small pointed crease brush, small flat shader brush, lip brush, flat eyeliner brush, bent liner brush, and angled spoolie brush. And I also went ahead and I got the Brush V4. This is a vegan foundation brush, just because I wasn't sure that any of the brushes that came in the kit were going to be good for foundation, so I was like, you know what, I may as well just order one separately. So we will try this for foundation. Oh, this one is nice and soft. This one feels slightly softer, but yeah. This one's just got a wooden silver handle. So to start off on my face, we will use this mattifying face primer. This has got 5-star review online. It is vegan and it's originally $11.99. I did buy all this stuff when it was all on sale. It seems like they've always got a sale going on there. So here is the Mattifying Studio Pro face primer. It's in a nice black squeezy tube. Let's get this twisted off. Got a nice safety seal. Thank you, BH. It's got a little bit of a kind of primery smell to it, but all right, we'll zoom you in a little bit here. My face has been washed and moisturized, just so you guys know. I'm just gonna squirt this out. Okay, so it looks like one of those clear ones. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So let's see. Okay, yeah, and it feels similar to something like the Smashbox primer, which has me a little worried because those primers don't work very well for me, but it's just got that kind of slippy feeling. And it definitely has a smell to it. It's just kind of a primery cardboard kind of a smell. And with these full face of first impressions, it's hard because I would love to do a face with half primer, but then there's other products that we're using, so I'm gonna be doing half of my face with powder so that we can tell a difference with that. You know, it's just one of the many problems when you're doing an experiment with tons of different variables like this. It's not a good way to go when you're trying to single out specific products. But, and also, do not worry, glasses wearers of the world, I will be putting my glasses on later on today. I just wanted to be able to have vision for this video and everything. There we go, primer is on. I mean, it feels fine. It feels really soft on my skin and everything. It doesn't feel mattifying, but you know, time will tell. Like I said, it made my skin feel very soft. And next up, I'm gonna go in with the Studio Pro Total Coverage Concealer. They've got 21 shades of this, which is great. I got the shade 104, if that'll focus. There we go. And this is vegan, cruelty-free, gluten-free, all of that stuff, which is great. And it's only $5.99, and you get like a nice size bottle here. This is kind of huge. And it's a nice looking bottle, you know, for a $6 concealer. It looks kind of fancy. Let's see, does this even, it has a pump type thing? That's super fancy. I mean, for me, it's like for concealer, that's not like necessary, I guess, but it doesn't hurt. So, okay, keeps it nice and clean by going like that. I think this was a good shade choice for me. It does seem a little bit runny, but I mean, not too much. I know I'm one of the few people in the world, I feel like, that likes to put on concealer before foundation, but this is just the way I like to do it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it like this. And it looks like it's giving good coverage, blending out decently under the eye. Probably could have gotten a shade a little bit lighter than this, just for the sake of covering my dark circles, but I think for blemishes this will work out pretty well for me. Doesn't feel heavy or anything, and I think that took away a good amount of discoloration under my eyes, so great. So this is the BH Liquid Foundation Naturally Flawless. They do have a couple different types of foundation, I do believe. I got the shade 204 Natural Beige. There we go. They have got 18 different shades of this foundation, and it actually looks like the shade range is awesome. I'll put a little clip right here. I mean, there are definitely skips in the shade range, but it looks like the fairest shade and the deepest shade are actually quite deep and quite fair, so that is great to see. So if I can get this box open, making me work for this foundation. Let's see. Comes in a nice glass bottle and everything. You get the standard 1 fluid ounce of foundation in here. I'm gonna shake it up because it looked like it had settled a little bit in there. Looks like this will be a good match for me, I think. And I'm assuming there's a pump. All right, and a fancy looking pump, right? Look at that, nice little finger space for it. I approve. So we will get this going, hopefully. The best pumps are those that work. Am I right? I actually am correct in this situation. Oh, right, so this looks decently thick, you know, it's not sliding down my finger or anything. So I'm gonna try applying this with their vegan foundation brush, since it is a foundation brush. I'm just gonna dab some of this. I didn't squirt too much out since I got a little startled when it actually finally did come out. But let's see. Foundation brush seems a little streaky. Yeah. I am not loving this brush. I'm trying to blend this out, and then I'm gonna use a different brush because this is going on very streaky and very patchily. And I don't know if that's a fault of the brush or the foundation at this point, but I'm gonna assume the brush. It just feels kind of pokey and I don't like this brush. So now I'm gonna try out this flat buffing brush. First off, just to kind of try and buff some of this out. This one feels much nicer even upon first buff here. It just feels very soft. I appreciate that. But it looks like a decent, you know, light medium type of a coverage. I'm just gonna be dispensing a bit more out here. Maybe try and put a little more on that part of my face, also known as my cheek. Use your words, Cassie. Okay, so yeah, it was definitely the brush problem. Because that one, it just kind of blended in kind of flawlessly. All right. Kind of wish this brush wasn't quite as long, like the bristles, just so it didn't have as much room to be as bendy. but that's just me making a small observation. It's doing a good job. It's just, I think it would be a little easier to use if it were a bit shorter, the bristles. But I think you can definitely tell the difference from this side of my face to this side of my face. So let's go ahead. Let's use the rest of this foundation on my finger, even things out. Alright, so that is looking good. I was able to build it up for sure just by stippling it on to the areas where I've got some red spots and general discoloration. I think the foundation looks really good right now. Get you a little more zoomed in so you can see. It looks very natural and just nice. Like I said, I think it blended in really nicely and I'm pretty excited. It feels like one of those foundations where it might get heavy feeling throughout the day, so I am a little bit nervous about that, but as of right now, it just feels like a cream foundation. Like, it doesn't feel super lightweight, but I also think that's because it hasn't quite dried down yet. Just need to give it a bit more time, but for now, I say yay. So next up I have got the BH Studio Pro Matte Finish Pressed Powder. I got the shade number 205 and they've only got 7 shades of this available, so that's a bummer just considering they had quite a big shade range for concealer and foundation. But this is originally only $7.99 and it is cruelty-free, vegan, and that good stuff. So it just comes in a black compact with a pushy button, you know, pretty standard there. Oh, that looks really pale. Let's give it a feel. Ooh, that feels like hyper silky. That feels nice. Oh, that looks very white though. I'm kind of scared. I didn't think I ordered the lightest shade, but this is the lightest shade that they have. And looking at it, I must have ordered this shade because it looks like the next shade, it's a pretty big skip and I thought that one might be too dark. This also does, it's giving me a little bit of difficulty, but there we go. It has got, you know, the compartment down below with the sponge and then a air vent for if you're bringing this on the go. So I'm just gonna use the powder brush from the set and I'm just gonna dust this in here and set my foundation and everything. Oh, and it's also got a mirror. Hello! Like I said in the beginning, I'm just gonna be powdering half of my face so that we can see if it makes a big difference in everything. I do think it made a slight difference. It went on really silky and almost translucent looking, but I do think it just looks a bit more HD and flawless on this side, right? Like, it's not like this side looks bad, I just think that this side looks a little bit nicer, a little bit smoother, a little bit silkier. I don't really see any hyper mattifying properties in it so far, but you can definitely see a bit of the shine was decreased from one half of my forehead to the other. Yeah, this side just looks more dewy without the powder. And this side, while it doesn't look matte, it does look pretty flawless. So yay to the powder so far. Next up, oh, I guess I'll zoom you back out here. We have got the contour and blush palette. This thing, like I said, is huge. They have got 2 different color options that you can get. One is light and one is darker. They're just called palettes 1 and 2. So I got the lighter option, obviously, for my complexion. It's vegan and cruelty-free, and this is originally a $10 palette, which it's huge, so I guess that makes more sense now that I see this in person. I mean, look at these pans! Who needs pans this big? I mean, I suppose like makeup artists, but like, oh my god! Let's see, we'll give them a feel. Super silky, just like the powder that I used. I was hoping one of these would work for a contour, but that is like very deep. Like really, really deep. I'm gonna use this number 3 brush and I'm going to very timidly tap it into this. Yeah, just like the babyest bit, right? And then maybe mix it up here. Yeah, maybe that'll be a little better. Whew, okay. I think we did okay. I mean, it's a lot darker than I typically do a contour on myself, but I think I'm gonna be okay for today. Phew. I mean, that's blending in beautifully. Did a really nice soft blend-in job there. So let's see if I can replicate that onto the other side. That's the problem with mixing. It's kind of a gamble. I think I went a little darker on this side. I don't know, maybe my subconscious was feeling a little fatter on this side of my face, so it said, hey, maybe use a heavier hand. Yeah? I think that's more of a mistake than anything, but I'll try and rationalize here. Okay, give me a false sense of a cheekbone there. Looks pretty good. I mean, I like this side better, but I think they both turned out alright. Yay! So since there wasn't a blush brush included, I'm just gonna use the powder brush from before, kind of knock any excess powder off of it. And I'm gonna go for a blush. These are really deep for a light palette, but I'm just gonna very, very timidly tap my brush in here. Yeah, that's probably plenty. Alright, yep, that was a lot. So, too much? Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised at how dark these blushes are for a light palette, but that's okay. We're gonna work with this. I mean, it seems to be blending okay, except for this side. It's looking a little there. Got that in from the cold look going on, and it is getting towards winter here, so I guess it's kind of appropriate. There. Okay, I can live with that. There we go. So next, start to do the eyes and everything. We have got the Studio Pro Waterproof Eye Primer. This is cruelty-free and retails originally for $9.50 for this little teeny tiny baby tube. But since it is an eye primer, you know this theoretically should go a very long way. I'm just gonna use this on one of my eyes just for a little bit of a test here. I'll use it on the side that I did powder just so I can remember a little bit better. Looks like it's got a bit of a nude tint to it. I wasn't really expecting that, but just, you know, so we can see if the eyeshadows are magic and somehow don't crease on me or anything through the day. We'll see how they perform on their own, and then we'll see how this primer does. So that'll give us a good test. It does feel pretty similar to the eye primer I use normally, my Holy Grail from the Balm. So that gives me hope. It doesn't really, yeah, there was a bit of a tint to that, huh? So that's nice, you know, it kind of blurs out veining and stuff, so alright, a little added bonus. And then while that is setting, let's go ahead and do the brows. This is their HD Brow Pencil. Comes in 5 different colors and it retails for $6.99. It is also cruelty-free. So it's just a skinny little tube here, one side being the pencil. What shade did I get? I got brunette. Good choice, Cassie. You are a brunette. And then it's got the little spoolie on this end. So this is a much stiffer spoolie. It feels kind of scratchy, so that's a little shocking actually, just because it is like an HD pro quality blah blah blah, but we'll see. Go ahead. I am not a typical brow pencil user. I usually do powder, but I'm gonna give this a shot. Looks like it's doing well. It's going on pretty creamily, like it feels quite soft. I guess I can give you a little swatcheroony here. Can you see? It's just very, very fine. But I like that because you can build it up and get your desired brow look. Looks like the color might be pretty red, surprisingly. Or at least it's looking a little bit red on me. But I think it's gonna work. Once it's all spoolied, it looks nice and soft and good. I like it. Let's do the other side. This one I've got this like bald patch right in here, so good to fill that in. So it's kind of a scary feeling product to me just because it doesn't feel like there's any like wax or anything. And I've got some slightly unruly brows, so we'll see how that does throughout the day. But for now, I am not offended by the way that everything looks. So the eyeshadow palette I got, I had to. This is by Bubs Beauty. This is the B palette. Bubs was the very first beauty guru I ever watched on YouTube, so she has a very special place in my heart. And this is just a 12 color shadow palette. It's originally $14.50, but the colors all look super beautiful. It's got a mirror in there, and yeah, I mean, these are my kind of colors, so this should be perfect for me. Now let's see, I wanna touch one. Nice and silky, all right. That's exciting, yay. It looks maybe a little bit sheer, but you know, I was kind of expecting this to be a more natural palette. So I'm gonna start off with a fluffy brush here and go into Optimistic. I'm not gonna do anything crazy special with my eyes today, but enough so we can see how this does. Does it look like that did anything at all? I swear I had product on there. Ooh, okay, you can see concealer creasing from earlier, but I do have very creasy under eyes, so I guess that's not too much of a shocker. Okay, so I don't feel like that did much of anything, so I'm gonna go into Inspired. There we go. It's getting a little bit of color, so I think maybe this is just a much sheerer eyeshadow formula. You know, it's not going to be anything super intense, which is fine. You know, for some people that's exactly what they want and exactly what they need. I'm just not used to it. So I think you can probably see too that eyeshadow primer is definitely helping to make these go on a lot smoother and everything. It just, things are looking a little bit choppier here on this side without the primer. Yeah, okay. So next I'm just gonna use one of the flat brushes. I'm gonna go into Able. This brush is not picking much of that up. Okay, so I mean, if you want that sheer overspray, that'll do it for you. Let's try this with my finger. There we go. So it might just be the brush. I'm getting some fallout with my finger here, but at least we're getting actual pigment. Let's see, let's use my deluxe fan brush. Yay! Got all that fallout. Yeah, this is just, it's pretty crumbly in there. I feel bad. I don't want, I love you, Bubs. I have followed you for a very long time. Many years. Truly. It's probably been like 10 years. I don't know. Bubs, how long have you been on YouTube? That's pretty much how long I've been following you. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna use this brush and go into Grateful here. Use this as my inner corner highlight. I think maybe it's just these brushes. Maybe it's the synthetic. It's just not good at picking up these more metallic-y, shimmery shades. Because my finger's doing a perfectly decent job. It's just I don't typically put on my eyeshadows with my fingers. So now I'm just gonna line the lower lash line with Confident. Ooh! Fall out! Knock off any pigment that was left on this fluffy brush. You just see the crumble. Yeah, it's too bad. And I'm just going into Kind, which is the lighter purple shade here, and smudge that out. Okay, so I'm not terribly excited about this eyeshadow palette. I'm sorry, Bubs. I'm so sorry, but you know, I'm happy with the way this look turned out. It's just not, you know, the best. So let's go ahead with a liquid liner. This is just the black liquid liner. It is $4.99 and it is vegan and cruelty free. It's got awesome reviews online, so I am very excited to give this a shot. Oh, it's a felt tip. I was not expecting that, but let's try it. been a long time since I've used a felt tip. This is strange. Ooh, it is hard to do a wing with a felt tip. This is a bit tuggy. I mean, it's not the worst I've ever done, but certainly not my best work. It's just really hard to get a crisp line with how tuggy it is. It just feels really quite dried out. Let's see if I have any better luck on this side. Okay, so I think that's about as good as it's gonna get, you guys, but there you go. You can just see, I mean, it's really hard to make a nice crisp line or to get any of that ink really close on the lash line. I mean, it looks fine, it's a lot of work. I'm quite surprised that this has quite as good of reviews as it does, but regardless, there you go, there's the eyes. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put on mascara. I'm pretty sure this is the only mascara they make. This is the BH Bliss Lash Ultimate All-in-One Mascara. This is $5.99 and cruelty-free. It comes in one shade, one type, so, you know, no option for waterproof or brown or anything. This just is what it is, and it comes in black, and that's what it is. So, pull this out. Ooh, got a very thick wand there. It looks like it's got the bristly type, not the plastic type bristles. I always do my bottom lashes first. Let's see how this does. I can't really talk while I put mascara on, so one moment here. Okay, so there you go, top and bottom lashes on this side. You can see, I mean, it definitely makes a difference. It's not the most impactful lash mascara I've ever seen. There you go for a close-up. But this is just one coat. I do like to typically do 2 coats on my top lashes, so we'll see how this ends up building. It's got a wetter formula for sure, so if you don't like wet formulas, you might not like this one. So I think you can see a lot more on this side how wet this formula is. I'm having a bit of an issue with some clumping that's happening. This side turned out so good! What happened? See, when this happens, I try to just like kind of squeeze the clumps off the ends. Does anyone else do this? And then just drag that through. So it's not my imagination either. I was thinking my vision was a little blurred. Can you see that mascara is running into my eyeball? That's how wet this is. Don't know that I've ever had that happen before. Whew. Okay, so for lip liner and the liquid lipstick, I got the shade Endora. I don't know how you pronounce that, but both of them are the same shade, but they look like different colors based on the tops of these. The liner comes in 21 different shades. It is $4.99, vegan, cruelty-free, all that stuff. It says that this is waterproof. That was a nice little pop. Just see how this... Wow, I hardly touched that to my skin. Okay, and this is one that you would need to sharpen with an actual pencil. It's not a twisty. Dang, I am hardly touching this to my lip at all. Yeah, that is quite possibly the creamiest lip liner I've ever used in my life. All right, love that. And then the matte liquid lipstick. This is cruelty-free, gluten-free, vegan, all that good stuff. It comes in 23 different shades. It originally retails for $8.99. Whew. Yeah, this eyeball is feeling it. Feeling that mascara, but it just looks like a really nice pink, you know? Looks like it's gonna go well with that. Boop. That doesn't smell good. I was expecting vanilla. Oh no! What have I done? What have I done? Okay, so let's see how this does. Yeah, it's definitely a bit lighter than the lip pencil, but it's a good pairing, I think. It's got a very like light, moussey, thin feeling to it. Don't think it has dried down quite yet, but here we go. Here's the makeup. Oh, this poor eyeball. I totally forgot. I got so carried away in things. I was gonna use something from the Bubs palette as a highlight. Let's go with Hopeful. Why not? It looks very hopeful. Ooh, yeah. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's pretty! It's probably not picking up on camera very well, but whoo! In real life, that's gorgeous. Oh, yes. So now I'm excited about this highlight too, but technically not, since I'm not too excited about this eyeshadow palette. But if they made this shade in just a highlighter pan, oh yeah. Oh yeah. There, can you see that a little bit better? Yeah? Boom! I mean, I know that's not what this was designed to be used as, but that worked out nice. So there you go. There is everything, you guys. I'm excited to see how this all does throughout the day. I think the liquid lipstick is dry. Yep, so that is transfer proof as of right now. It's got that like chalky texture to it, and it looks pretty dry on my lips. I'm not so sure about this. But there you go, you guys. Whew, that took a long time, but that was a lot of products. That was 13 products. But it created this. So I'm excited to take you guys along with me for my day here. I'm just doing a bunch of work, and I've got a couple errands I wanted to run, and then I am just going to my mom's house for my trashy TV night with her. We shall see how this all ends up doing. I will be checking in with you guys periodically here so that we can see how everything is doing. It is currently just about 1:30 in the afternoon. I think that's about it for now, so I will just see you all very soon here on YouTube land. Bye! Hello everyone, good evening. It is the end of the night here. It is currently 2:17 in the morning. Oopsies, I stayed up too late. What else is new? Didn't mean to, but such is life. So I'm definitely ready to take off all of my makeup, but more importantly, I'm so excited. You thought I was gonna say to go to bed. Nay. I'm excited to put on a freaking chapstick. My lips are so dry. So, I mean, as a whole, here, let's take a closer look. As I think you can see up close, we have got some definite winners and some definite losers. So from the very get-go, I think you can see, and I think you have been able to see today, this mattifying primer, what mattifying? Oh, I need to blot so bad. Oh yeah. At least for me and my very oily skin, this did not do anything in terms of mattification. Ah, that feels good to get that off. Another thing that I can say along those same lines is that the powder didn't seem to do much for me. I mean, initially it made my skin look nice and airbrushed, but overall, I mean, you would have to keep reapplying that throughout the day for there to be much of a difference, I would say. I didn't notice much of a difference from one half of my face to the other. And with the brow pencil, that's also a no-go for me, just because my brows didn't stay the way that I originally put them. Like I said, there doesn't seem to feel like there's much wax in the product, if any at all. The pigment still stayed, so that's that. I'm sure I'll continue to use it once my powder runs out and everything, and then just end up putting a wax on top of it, but you know, it was fine. And then moving down still even further, there are mascara flecks everywhere on my face. This mascara is a flaky bugger. I personally wouldn't recommend it. I can definitely say yes to the eyeshadow primer. That looks like it definitely helped the eyeshadow stay and everything, and it definitely helped initially in performance putting the eyeshadow on. So I would say the eyeshadow primer, I'm very excited to keep on using that. The eyeliner, it was okay. You can see in the inner corners, it definitely seems to have faded and even feathered a little bit. Plus, I didn't enjoy the way that it applied. Like I said earlier, you know, it just felt like it was tugging. It wasn't a wet enough formula. I just personally didn't really care for that eyeliner. I mean, it hung in okay, but there's much better, I would say, on the market. Eyeshadow, I mean, I wouldn't recommend the palette, and that kills me to say just because I do love Bubs, but I just didn't feel like it was anything stellar. There is glitter all over like this area of my cheeks, so I know that wasn't from where I actually used it as like a highlight. It looks like it was fallout from the actual shadow that I used all over the lid, so that's sad to see that that fell throughout the day. The concealer seems to have stuck around underneath my eyes. I'm curious to try it again, and once I do in the future, you know, it always happens, I will get a pimple or two, so I'll be curious to try it out on that kind of stuff. It doesn't seem to be awesome, but it does look like it stuck around under my, like, it looks like it's good enough where I'm curious to give it another shot. The blush and contour seems to still be on my face, which is great. I am not thrilled with it just in terms of the color, just because I am a fair to light skin tone, and even though I got the lighter shade selection supposedly of blush palette and contour palette, it was still really dark and I just had to be very careful with it. So while it did perform well, it's just the colors for me. So I would be curious in checking out other BH Cosmetics blushes, maybe like in the singles, but that particular palette, you know, for me. The liquid lipstick was horrid. I don't have it on anymore. As you saw earlier, I took it off after dinner. I mean, it did a pretty decent, okay job of sticking around, you know, through my midday meal and through dinner. It was okay there. It did end up smearing onto my chin. For the most part, it was just really dry. It was really chalky feeling. It really just felt like it sucked the life out of my lips. Plus it smelled horrible, just chemically. So I'd say nay on that liquid lipstick. The liner is really creamy and everything, but you can see even though I've just been sipping on water the rest of the night here, it still came off pretty significantly on the inside portion of my lips. I just figured, you know, for this last half of the video or the last portion of the video, I would test out just the liner, because I know some people do wear just liner as a lipstick, and plus I just needed to get that horrendous, awful liquid lipstick off of my lips. And then I think the biggest win for me is going to be this foundation. I think it looks like it hung in pretty darn well. I mean, I can see fading in some areas, like around my around my inside part of my face here, you know, my nose and my laugh lines and that sort of a thing, but that's pretty typical for me, and I'm curious to test it with my normal primer. Oh, that's another thing with the primer. This just has that feeling. I'm assuming it's the primer anyways. I will have to do further testing and everything, but like I said in the beginning, this felt like the Smashbox type primers, and those tend to end up feeling very heavy on my face throughout the day. I think that's what ended up happening with this. Like I said, I'll have to test the foundation with my normal primer to see, but I am definitely curious to keep on testing this foundation out, because once I did blot, you know, my face feels really light and nice and no problems, but when my oils were coming through, at those points my face did feel very, very heavy with grease, and I'm thinking that had to do with the primer just based on past experience. I can't say for sure, but that is my guess. Quick little update from future Cassie here. It's actually just the next day, but I am wearing this foundation again from BH Cosmetics with my normal primer, and hoo-hoo! Well, let's see what time it is. I've had this on for like 10 hours, I think, 9 or 10 hours. Let's see, can I do math? I think it's been about somewhere in there. And it looks fantastic. Like, it definitely has faded a little bit, like right in my nose crease and stuff, but considering how long I've had this on, so good, so good. I'm very excited. Now granted, I was also using my mattifying powder today along with my normal primer, so that definitely could have influenced the foundation, but overall I'm really happy with it and just excited to keep on testing it out. I thought I would just let you guys know. Oh, and also, I know I forgot to do the flash photography test yesterday. I'm so sorry about that, but I did do the flash photo test here tonight, so here you go. I know I'm looking a little rough, but I'm a bit tired, and by a bit, I mean I'm very tired, so excuse my derp face, but it doesn't seem like this foundation anyways has any flashback that I can tell. I can't speak for whether, you know, the primer or the powder give flashback, but I can say conclusively, or at least, you know, I can give you a look at what the foundation looks like with a flash photo. So I'm glad I could update you guys on that as well. There you go, you guys. There was my full-on review here of these BH Cosmetics products all over my face. I know this is a longer video, but there was a lot of stuff to get through here. I hope it was helpful for you guys, just seeing how everything performed and whatnot, so you can make kind of an educated guess on what may or may not work for you. It wasn't a great experience for me, but it wasn't the worst experience. The brushes were okay. I feel like something like Real Techniques and stuff and e.l.f. do just as well, if not better, so I don't know that I'm ever gonna get any more BH Cosmetics brushes, but I am really excited about this foundation to keep on testing that. I am excited about this eyeshadow primer. It seems like that worked really great, but otherwise, oh, that wasn't the greatest roundup, was it? But like nothing, well, I shouldn't say nothing performed terribly. I would say the worst offenders were the liquid lipstick, the mascara, and probably the eyeshadow palette. Those three were probably my least favorite products, but there you go. Like I said, I just hope this review was helpful and or enjoyable for you in seeing what you may or may not want to check out from BH Cosmetics in the future. Like I said, I wasn't blown away, but I'm glad I finally tested a lot of this stuff out, and it seems like I found a couple of gems here for myself. If you did enjoy this video, found it helpful, whatever the case may be, please do go ahead, give me a thumbs up down below. I would really appreciate it. And if you're new here, hey, hi, hello, how are you? You can go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more content from me in the future. You can become a member of my casserole family here on my channel. I would love to have you here. And as always, I just hope you guys are all doing well. And until next time, just stay well until then. Bye!